Begin the song exactly where you are. Remain within the world of which you're made. Call nothing common in the earth or air. Accept it all and let it be for good. Start with the very breath you breathe in now, this moment's pulse, this rhythm in your blood, and listen to it ringing soft and low. Stay with the music, words will come in time. Slow down your breathing, keep it deep and slow. Become an open singing bowl, whose chime is richness rising out of emptiness, and timelessness resounding into time. And when the heart is full of quietness, begin the song exactly where you are. In reading today's gospel, I can see in my mind's eye the Magi, the three kings as they are known in stories and songs, when they arose with a start and began to prepare for the journey that the stars that they studied convinced them to take. I can see them coming together in council and corroborating their findings and examining foreign prophecies of the events that would come to pass when a king much greater than they would be born, and deciding it all at once that yes, the stars had spoken, and that they must travel to see this cosmic occurrence for themselves. I can see the families and the friends of the Magi, the people and leaders in their city, watching confused and amazed as they hurriedly prepared for this journey, marveling at how this event had caused them to drop everything and go. They marveled, I'm sure, at the selections of gifts that they had prepared for this foreign child that had been born, gifts far more extravagant, most likely, than they had ever given their own children. And as they set off on this journey, I'm sure that those left behind talked amongst themselves, wondering why this event and this birth was so incredibly important, that the Magi began to speak of worshiping this foreign child, this king, and how they began to sing new songs that had never been ever heard before without questioning. They began the song exactly where they were. Now, some of you may know that my sister Rebecca is a bookseller, and she sells her books at conferences and on her own online bookstore, booksbybecca.com. Little plug for her. She has been quite successful and has been fortunate to meet an assortment of people who are experts in apologetics, the Inklings, scholars on C.S. Lewis, and poets such as Malcolm Guite. Now, Malcolm is the chaplain of Girton College in Cambridge, England, and is also a singer-songwriter. My sister introduced me to his works, and I was hooked immediately. This fall, my sister was honored to be the first bookseller in the United States to offer Malcolm's latest collection of poetry, The Singing Bowl, in the United States. I, of course, purchased a copy, which I received right before Christmas. I was particularly intrigued at the poem, which I just read, which provided the book's title, The Singing Bowl, because when Christopher and I attended the World Expo in Yeosu, South Korea, one of the exhibits contained a singing bowl, which is where this picture was taken. Now, we didn't really have time to spend to really get the full experience of it, but we did get to hear the sound and read a bit on what a singing bowl is. Basically, the sound the singing bowl makes is to signify the beginning of meditation, reflection, and worship. When I read and reread and read again Malcolm's magnificent poem, I thought of the peaceful sound that the singing bowl made, and how its soft, low humming seemed to drown out the throngs of people at the expo. I began to reflect on the first and the last line of the poem, begin the song exactly where you are. It made me think about the Magi and how they began their song of worship exactly where they were. It made me reflect through biblical history how when God called our spiritual forefathers and mothers, they began their songs exactly where they were. Abraham, Moses, Rahab, the fishermen that Jesus called to ministry, to name a very few. They all listened to the call of God and began their song, their relationship with God, their calling exactly where they were. They didn't prepare and they didn't study. They didn't consult with their friends, families, and neighbors. When they heard the music of God ringing soft and low, they acted immediately in faith and followed without regard to the details. I believe that is exactly what God wants from us, to start with the very breath you breathe in now, this moment's pulse, this rhythm in your blood. To begin the song exactly where you are, this song of calling, of ministry, of devotion to Him without laboring over the details and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. All that comes in time. He is simply asking us to start As we stand on the threshold of a new year, I want us each to open ourselves like the singing bowl, whose chime is richness rising out of emptiness. This chime that resonates through our souls, finding those places within us that are empty and filling us with songs anew. I want us to realize that the person we most want to be is the person we were in the very beginning, before heartache, self-destruction, and disappointment seeped in. This music that we hear, it is the sound of recovery of what was never lost. I want us to set aside those things that so easily beset us, the strained relationships with our families, the drudgery of our day-to-day existence, which has become devoid of joy and purpose. I want us to put aside the negative voices of condemnation, whether they come from others or from ourselves. I want us to reject the tunes of oppression and suppression and trade them in for the joyous songs of freedom and victory. It's time to put aside anything and everything that stands in our way of hearing the music and the calling of God. It's time to give gifts, not material things like the Magi brought, but gifts of service, understanding, and tolerance to our neighbors. Accept it all and let it be for good. The song that we begin today will indeed be timeless, resounding into time. Begin the song exactly where you are.